Get ready for what's probably the greatest entertainment news talk show out of Austin, Texas. Get ready for everything entertainment news and talk. And now, here's your host, Clint Baker.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Everything Entertainment News and Talk. Man, we have an exciting show today. We're going to be talking about how rich Tom Cruise, just like he wasn't already rich. We're going to be talking about James Cameron, Avatar stuff. We've got Star Wars news. We've got Thor Love and Thunder talk at the end. Don't worry, no spoilers. We're just going to talk about the vibe. And, man, we got She-Hulk, Star Wars, I already said that, a whole bunch of stuff. The Boys. But before we do that, let's get the gang in here. Oh, man. Everything News Team, assemble. That's what it's funny when your quick keys don't show up. Oh. There they are. How you doing there, fellas?
Hello. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
I got a smoothie.
Yes, sir. All right, well, let's talk to the chat real quick and say hello, see how they're all doing. I feel like everybody here went and saw Thor Love and Thunder. I know because we just posted the reactions, but yeah, so that's gonna be a fun conversation. That's definitely some news to talk about, but also The Boys. Oh man, that was crazy. We will not get too far into the spoilers in case you guys haven't got it, but we'll just talk about whether we're satisfied or not. Before we get going on any of that stuff, I'm going to do this real quick. Guys, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up if you can. And if you're enjoying this show, subscribe to the channel. If you hit that notification bell, we'll send you a reminder whenever we go on live or whenever we have a new video out. If you want to help support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/ClintLikesEverything. If you can't remember that, there's a link in the description. And lastly, if there's something you want us to talk about on the show, message me on social media. I'm the OG Clint Baker on all my socials, but you can find all this information in the description for this video. Anyway, let's get to it. Boom. Yes, sir. Let's talk to the chat real quick, and then we'll get into our first topics. We're running a little behind just because we got such a late start, but we got to say hi to everybody. Oh, I see we got Bobby in the house. Bobby! We got Mel. We got Jedi Master EJ. We got Mel again, and Jedi Master... Oh, boy. Curtis, you didn't comment in there? What's going on?
I did at the very beginning. Don't worry. I'm in there.
Clint needs to make his technical difficulties screen with him and Curtis with funny faces. I mean, yeah, we could do that. What about the rest of the gang? Are you leaving them out? That's uncouth.
I'd like to be in a sepia tone.
A sepia tone?
Old school.
That's a good band name, the Sepia Tones. Your face just lit up from the light. As you leaned that way. All right.
Boy.
Well, let's get into the good stuff here. Hi everyone, says Bobby.
Hey, pretty lady.
Hey. Oh, I thought you were talking to me, Curtis. Top Gun. In a piece for Puck, entertainment reporter Matthew Bologna breaks down the deal Cruise and his legal team worked out for the belated basically the sequel for Top Gun that is out. And you know what's hilarious? I don't even have it up here, but I can break this down myself. Basically, he had one of those deals that's structured kind of like Scarlett Johansson's deal. That's why Scarlett Johansson sued Disney's, because a lot of these actors, they'll take a chunk of money up front. Tom Cruise got like $12.5 million, but then they get bonuses after that, and they sell so many seats, so they hit a benchmark in the box office, they get a bonus. So when you are putting prematurely putting Scarlett Johansson's movie on Disney Plus, you're sabotaging her bonus structure and making it so that she's not going to make as much money. So that's why she sued. They had a settlement and all that. Well, Tom Cruise, his bonus structure, you know, we don't know exact numbers, but Matthew Bologna, who's an industry guy who writes for Puck, he used to be, I think, the editor of The Hollywood Reporter, if I remember correctly. But he's pretty in the know, and he basically spells it out. says that based on what Top Gun has done so far, Tom Cruise has probably made $50 or $60 million just on that. But then if you tie in what's going to happen with rentals and streaming and everything else, he could bust the $100 million mark. Like, he's probably going to make in the 90s, but he might even make over $100 million. For an actor to make over $100 million on a picture is pretty wild. What do you guys think about that? Anybody?
I don't hate it. I know he's involved like heavily in the production of the film, so it only makes sense that his bonus structure would work out that he gets heavy bonuses on the back end. So, I mean, you can't really hate on the guy for that. I think it's smart when people do those deals. Like, one of my favorite deals is RDJ's Iron Man deal, where, he got a certain amount for Iron Man movies, but if he appeared as that character in any movie outside of just Iron Man, like the Avengers, Spider-Man, he got like sick profit bonuses. So that's how he made so much money. It's those sweet little contract negotiations that work out on the back end.
I think it's awesome, dude. I don't hate on anybody for making a little bit of money. I mean, he was a producer. That's why, he puts a lot into his movies. He does all his own stunts. He freaks out when people on his set are not being safe, and he chewed out that one guy for not wearing a mask or something during the apocalypse. He takes his business very seriously, and I think that's cool. Like, I really think that's cool. And so, yeah, if you make $100 million, hey, dude, you deserve it, man. Like, that's cool.
I'm fine with it as well. The movie would not be as successful if Tom Cruise wasn't in it. Studios kind of need to learn that. I'm looking at you, Dirty Dancing 2. The reason it's successful is because he's in it. One of the main reasons. However, next time there's union negotiations for all those production people, and stuff like that, Tom Cruise better be on their side. I'm just saying, like, all those people who are like, hey, I just want a day off every once in a while and like to get a living wage, and I don't want him to be one of those people like, no, studios can't afford that kind of money and blah blah blah. Like, spread the love a little bit there, Tom Cruise. Make sure you're on their side.
That's a very good point. Yeah,
I've heard good things about him, that he really respects the business, and most of those big stars like that have been in it so long are pretty cool. And I've heard from people that have met him and had a conversation with him and said that he was actually very cool. You know what I mean? Like, I love, of course, the Human Being of the Century award goes to Keanu Reeves. Everybody loves Keanu Reeves, but whenever the Matrix exploded, he found out how much the graphics guys, the CGI guys and all that were making off like how much they got paid, and he, out of his own bonuses and own money, went and paid them a whole bunch of money, like millions of dollars, to all these guys. That, because he said, yeah, without you guys, this movie wouldn't have done anything. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool. But that's Keanu Reeves. I don't know what Tom Cruise is going to do, but you know what? Tom Cruise just turned 60. He's kicking ass. Top Gun was a good movie. They could have put out crap. They could have put out a movie that was just checked all the boxes to be a sequel, but they actually put out a good movie, and he's getting the rewards for it. So I think that's cool. Yes, sir. Derek, what do you think about this?
I agree.
I was hoping you were going to say, I don't really care.
No, not this time. Not this time.
Because then I go, yeah, I don't really care. That was the theme for the last show when you were gone, Cam. Yeah. Well, let's go on to the next one. Speaking of rich producers, boom. The new Avatar sequel is 3 hours long, but director James Cameron doesn't want to hear any complaints. I don't want to hear anybody whining about the length when they sit down and binge watch TV for 8 hours, Cameron at 67 recently told Empire. It's like, give me a fucking break. I've watched my kids sit down and do 5 one-hour episodes in a row, he continued. Here's the big social paradigm shift that has to happen. It's okay to get up and go pee. This comes to us from People.com. I fucking love this because it makes James Cameron sound like a grouchy old man, which he is. He's 67, so he's getting up there. He also recently said that he's probably not going to do the next couple of Avatar movies, but he's going to pass the torch to someone else. And I think a big part of it is kind of like Stranger Things, where Stranger Things creators, the Duffy brothers, they're going to pass the torch because they've been working on it for a damn decade. As long as it's taken for this sequel to come out for Avatar, like, dude, by the time they get to 3 and 4, James Cameron will be 100 years old. Of course he's passing the torch to somebody else. But that's a little sidebar. But what do you guys think of him? I was like, dude, did he get into the whiskey cabinet again, or like what's going on with James Cameron? Curtis, what do you think? You think he's got a point, or do you think he's just being a grouchy old man? It also amuses me that people aren't even complaining about the length of the movie yet. He's prematurely telling these people to shut the hell up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he immediately went out after recording that quote, went out and was like, "Get off of my lawn!" to a bunch of kids, and was like, "I'm keeping this now." And he's got so many kids frisbee, you know. It shows a little bit of how out of touch he is, because movies are kind of already 3 hours long anyway, 2.5 hours anyway, and yeah, like binge watching absolutely exists, but that's one of the reasons that streaming is kind of winning a little bit, because you can just pause it when you go pee, and you can pause it to get a snack. Like that's a different animal, you know. He's arguing two different things there, but I don't even know why he's arguing the first thing, because yeah, most movies are like 2.5 to 3 hours anyway. Now people want to get their money's worth, and they don't go to the movies as often, so when they do, they're fine with sitting for 3 hours, I think, especially if it's a good movie. If it's a bad movie, I don't want to sit for 3 hours, but like, you know, it's kind of on you there, James. Like, so yeah, he's putting the cart before the horse, and he's just some crazy old man. That's old man Cameron. Stay away from his house. What are you doing? Get her!
What do you think, Derek?
James Cameron can shut up. That's my professional opinion. I'm sorry. He's been on. I haven't liked him since 2009. He's been. I made the #1 movie. Oh, something topped it. I guess I'll make my Avatar sequels. Like, dude, I guarantee you those movies, because those were supposed to come out way earlier, and it wasn't until like The Force Awakens topped it. I don't remember. I could be wrong, but something topped it, and then it's like,
Endgame's the only thing to top it.
Endgame. What's that?
Endgame, I think, is the only thing to have topped it.
Endgame. I knew it was one of my nerd ones.
One of your faves.
Yeah, but it just it feels petty. It feels petty that he even went ahead with this. Hopefully, it's fine. I mean, I enjoyed the first one until it like exploded, and everyone's like, "That's the greatest thing I've ever seen." It's not, though. It's not. It's really good special effects. That's all it is, and that's fine. Sorry, I could go on and on about the first Avatar.
Are you not excited for Are you not excited for this?
No.
No.
I'll probably see it eventually, but I don't care.
How about you, Cameron? Do you care about that? What's funny is before you let her rip, like what's funny to me is that like people say like none of us give a shit about Avatar. It's really weird, and none of the people in any of the YouTube channels that I watch seem to give a shit either. But when you look at the numbers, like you post a video about Avatar, like you get insane numbers, like as a YouTuber. And like just the search results, there's trending things, and then but I don't know anybody who cares about Avatar. But somehow it the math says that people care, but I don't know anybody who cares about that. Anyway, what do you think about it, Cameron?
I think it'll be. I mean, hopefully it'll be cool. I think they spent a lot of money on making some really cool water simulation. It's going to be a lot of full CG, but I think what made the first Avatar so special was, it was a game changer as far as visual effects goes, and motion capture getting taken to a next level, and all these things combined that made it what it was. And it's something like with The Matrix, you can't recreate that twice, where they come in and change the game with cameras and VFX. So I don't see them reinventing the wheel. You can't have a second bullet time, so I'm not that excited for it, especially if it's going to be 3 hours. I hope they can create some sort of like 5-minute water simulation scene that kind of signals everyone, go use the restroom now before you miss anything important, please. So that'd be cool if James Cameron's so into bathroom breaks. Give us one. Make a 5-minute water break scene where it's just a waterfall, so it makes your brain want to go pee, and then you go to the bathroom, you pee, and then you come back and don't miss anything like I did in Batman when Alfred blew up. I mean, damn, man. I always pee at the worst time, so you can't press pause.
Dude, that is the most brilliant thing. Yeah, we're gonna make some water noises. Everybody go pee, but then you'd need to put more. You'd need to put more bathrooms at the theater because it's hard enough to piss when you're at the theater. Yeah.
Hey, you didn't like the Neo versus the CGI Agent Smiths, man?
Man,
You didn't think that was revolutionary?
I loved how meta it was in making fun of like them acknowledging what's the new bullet time. There is no new bullet. You can't do it twice. And I like how they acknowledge that you can't recreate the magic of the first one. It's lightning in the bottle. That's what Avatar was. It won't be again. So,
Well, I can tell you, I starved myself. I was thinking about some snacks, but I was watching Thor. I was like, dude, I can't miss this. But pee time came, and I ran to the bathroom during Thor yesterday, and then I ran back. Don't worry, I washed my hands. Then I ran back, and then I jumped back in my seat, and I was like, Cameron, what happened? And then we're the guys talking in the theater, but we did it like in one sentence. He got me updated in like one sentence, so that worked out. But
did anybody? Hold on, real quick. Did anybody else get the like the Holocaust trailer in their showing?
Yeah.
I was just like, damn, man, way to kill the vibe.
I even made a note that I sent myself. There was a couple of things. The trailers were that was really weird, and there was that, and then there was. First of all, there was also the Avatar trailer. That was one that we saw, but yeah, there was like they go into the Holocaust, and Cameron just says, "Way to kill the vibe." We're like all fired up, like, "Yeah, dude, Thor!" And then they.
I feel like I heard it get laughs though. It did get laughs in the theater, which made me feel good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And then it goes to another trailer that starts to look like it's going to be some kind of African genocide thing, and I'm like, is this the theme where it's like, okay, we got Ragnarok genocide, we got you have the Holocaust, and then you got but then it turned out to be a completely different thing.
Yeah, Idris Elba,
which was Idris
punching a fucking tiger too.
Yeah. If anybody sees the trailer for Beast, make sure you're paying attention at the end of the trailer. Yeah. We lost our shit,
dude.
We
died laughing.
That
was so funny.
Because these people get stranded out in the jungle, and there's a lion that's basically hunting them. So it's basically Jaws with the lion, and Idris Elba's trying to protect his family, and he's like, "Stay here. I've got a particular set of skills," and he runs out into the jungle to go. Anyway, at the last scene, you just see him tumbling down the side of a hill with the lion, and you just hear, and he punches Idris Elba punches out the lion, and the screen goes black, so you don't know what happens, but it's the funniest thing. It was like, doom, and we're like, did he just punch the lion? That's awesome. In the face. Like, Idris Elba is that badass. He can punch out a lion. That's why he should be the next Bond. They're like, what qualifies you to be the next Bond?
I can knock out a lion.
Oh, sorry, I guess you had to be there. It was good. It was good times. All right, on to the next one. Let's talk about some Stranger Things action. Woo-wee! We're going to take a vacation in July, says Ross Duffer. He told Collider, in terms of a timetable for what's to come, and then what we're going to come back, when we're going to come back. I don't know what the writer's room is when they're going to start. Long story short, if you've been watching Stranger Things, you know we had an amazing season, like fantastic. Has everybody here seen Stranger Things?
I finished it.
Everybody? Derek?
Not yet, no.
Come on, man. Well, we're
this
not gonna
fucking gay.
We're not gonna spoil too much for you.
I'm still in the first season. I wouldn't be able to catch up even if I tried.
Well, there's a lot of really fun stuff. And hey, Kim Whitehead, if anybody out there hasn't seen it and you're gonna get offended by mild spoilers, we're not gonna really spoil anything, but we might mention a couple of climactic things. For one, this season was just epic and awesome, and it was really interesting, the release technique that they use, the method of releasing the episodes. You got Disney that releases an episode every season, and then you have Netflix that will let you binge watch a whole season. And what they find is that when you have weekly releases, people stay engaged longer. So like for instance, you're not going to hear us talking about Umbrella Academy for a long time. We did that in 1 week. Boom. It made a loud buzz. Boom. It's gone forever. That's where Disney has the edge on Netflix, is because we're talking about Obi-Wan for 6 weeks. Now, if they get their shit together and make some longer shows, that would be really good. I just take a note there, Disney, if you're paying attention. That would be nice. I know we're going to get that with Cassian Andor, which is super exciting. 12 episode seasons. That's what I'm talking about. And that means we're going to be talking about these shows for 12 weeks. It's gonna have a chance to just take over culture, people, fans, and lots of talk and speculation and theories, and that's what makes it fun. And that's what, like, when I'll never forget when WandaVision happened and Loki happened. I was just sitting there trying to figure out what's going to happen next week. I'd be in traffic thinking about the show, even though I've already watched it, but I'm thinking about it all week, trying to make a theories and daydreaming, and it's fun. That's what makes these shows fun to me. But I think most people, you want to know where they're going to go with the story. Well, Netflix just releases everything in a big chunk. Well, they did that, but they didn't. They did it in 2 parts, and I noticed they did this with Arcane. If you guys haven't seen Arcane yet, the anime series, it's an awesome show. They did a few episodes, then they took a break. Then they did a few more, they took a break. And then they did a few more, and they took a break. And it's awesome. Like that's a really cool thing, because there's nothing that's more frustrating than watching a 30-minute show or a 50-minute show, and then boom, and you got to wait forever because you want more. You want more. Well, Netflix did a hybrid. They released a whole bunch of episodes, and then they made you wait for a short amount of time. So now all of a sudden, you have something on the horizon. So you're talking about it. You haven't had enough time to forget. Then they release a pretty good-sized episode and a full-length movie-sized episode. And I think that technique was super cool, and the ratings are off the charts, and everybody loved it, and people were talking about it. And this show is like really influences culture and everything else. It puts Kate Bush on the charts with a 30-year-old song and everything else. But what do you guys think about the releases? Like, how do you like it? Do you like to binge your stuff, or do you like to just like have a weekly treat every week? We'll start with Derek. What do you think, man?
I like it all. It really doesn't bother me either way. But I do understand. I do agree with what you're saying with the weekly releases, because it also gives you time to watch other things. When Netflix throws it all out at once, you kind of just want to stick with that. But at the same time, when Witcher season 3 comes out, that's all I want to do anyway. So it's either way. Give me my content. I'll take it however you want to give it to me.
Curtis,
I'm easy.
Curtis, what do you think? Are you a binger, or are you a weekly guy?
I've been a binger because I don't like waiting week to week. It's usually kind of annoying. However, at the same time, you kind of do make a good point with things like The Boys. I still don't want to wait. I'd probably prefer to just binge it, but it does keep me involved for a longer period of time. It does keep people talking about it, and it gives me more time to talk about it, because we can talk about, what's going to happen next or this or that. Whereas if I binge it, I know what happens next. So I do like what they're doing with Stranger Things, and they just need to break it up more, break it up as in 3 or 4 episodes, longer episodes, so you can binge and then still have time to talk about it for a few weeks, binge, and stuff like that. So the hybrid method that I think they're trying is probably going to work.
Yeah. How about you, Cam? What do you?
I prefer the weekly. I don't know. The pandemic's over. I'm not slumming it in bed all day anymore, so I can't sit and enjoy 8 hours worth of television. And like Derek said, I get stuck on, just one show when I want to watch other things. So, and it's nice to kind of have something to look forward to throughout the week. Maybe I got a show on Wednesday night and Friday night, and that gives me something to do when I come home. I like that. I think it'd be better maybe to release in a 3-act or 3-volume type structure, so they do keep coming back, because it's all about, I think the new ratings with the streaming, they're looking for just hours viewed. So if everybody just watches everything all at once, then all those hours are used up. I think that's why the episodes were so long, because then it adds to the hours viewed. But I think it'd be better to, like, they're trying to find that balance between the weekly and the binging, because they're losing, I think, a lot to the competition by having everybody watch everything all at once. But I don't think they found the right way. I didn't enjoy the Stranger Things having to watch, like, what was it, 7 or 8 episodes, and then being like, okay, now just sit on it for like a month and come back. I lost all my enthusiasm, honestly. When I came back to the finale, most of my enthusiasm had left, and I think there's a fine balance they need to find there. So I prefer the weekly, but we'll see.
I think the only good thing about that was it gave me time to catch up. You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to get caught up. I got stuck on other shows, but I agree with you. I think doing 3 episodes and then wait a couple of weeks and then 3 more episodes, I think would be good. Maybe if they want to get it out that fast, 3 episodes a week is great. You know what I mean? Because
and then they can with stuff like that, they can work on it while, like, they can put it out sooner because they can work on it while the first 3 are out. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to talk about this in a minute for Stranger Things season 5, but like, they could potentially just work on those 3 episodes, and then while everybody's binging it and blah blah blah, letting it sit for a few weeks, continue working.
They might do that. But what's funny is this article said that they're going to take a break, a much deserved break. They're on top of the world. They're kicking ass. In fact, they just started an Upside Down Productions where they're going to start putting out a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of it seemed like sci-fi driven. I saw something about the Dark Crystal, which is cool. I don't know if they're going to do a live action version of the Dark Crystal instead. That's not puppets. But I saw that. But it's called Upside Down Productions. They also said that they're not going to do future spinoffs. There's going to be a spinoff, but they're not going to be working on it. Maybe the production company will be affiliated, but they're not going to actually direct and showrun that series. And I'm speculating. I think the spinoff that they already greenlit is going to be like the 90s, because a huge character, one of the main characters of Stranger Things, is the 80s. Just the whole vibe, all of the things they put in the show that flashes you back to that time. I think, and they said that none of the characters, Millie Bobby Brown, Elle is not going to be in it. No, it's not going to be related to any of these characters. It's going to be the same universe. It's going to be a complete different spinoff. I think they're going to be like, okay, we got Stussy and Massimo shirts and Z Cavaricci's and Mortal Kombat video games and all the fun stuff, Saved by the Bell, all the fun stuff from the 90s, I think is going to be in this. And it's going to be the next generation, basically, of Stranger Things, which would be fun. Like, yeah, and you'll get some Doc Martens sneaking their way in towards like in there, and flannels and grunge, and everybody's going to be like, woo, this is awesome. It'll go great. So, Nirvana will come back, we'll be back on the charts again, not just from the Batman soundtrack. So it'll be cool.
Here's my little prediction on that. I'm just going to call it now, so maybe I look smart in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that Finn Wolfhard is going to come in and direct if the Duffer Brothers aren't. Just to guess. Maybe he'll be in it too, but I see that kid as a director one day.
From the makers of Stranger Things, Upside Down Productions brings you weirder stuff.
Yeah, I think Wolfhard's going to be the Kylo Ren prequel series, or a prequel. He'll be playing Adam Driver's character. He'll be Kylo Ren.
That's interesting.
Secret I say that as I say that, I thought this was really funny. I saw this. That's here. Wait for it. There we go. Mike Will Lucas, by the time we finally get Stranger Things season 5, because they're not even they're all grown up now. It's hilarious. it's funny because they haven't even written it yet. So people are like, cool, let's get season 5. We're like, guys, they haven't even written it yet. So by the time they get in the writer's room, write it, and then make it, oh boy, it's gonna be a little bit, but
A little bit.
a little bit. But another cool thing that happened in this show was Eddie Munson, a new character, had a rockin' solo in this show, and Eddie Munson ends up on the roof. I don't want to spoil too much, but if you've seen the new season, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, he does a Metallica solo, and it's an epic thing while the whole gang is pulling off. They make a plan, and part of it is they need a distraction. So Eddie goes and plays guitar, and it's epic. So Eddie Munson's glorious rendition of Metallica's Master of Puppets in Stranger Things 4 has the band seal of heavy metal approval. The band, comprised of James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and Robert Trujillo, said they were blown away by the scene in the season finale, calling it an incredible honor to be such a big part of Eddie's journey. This comes to us from Entertainment Weekly, and I think it's really cool. Something that's interesting is Robert Trujillo, the bass player for Metallica. He's the latest bass player of Metallica, but he's legit. Dude is legit, and his son is a badass. His son plays bass also, and has gone out and filled in for Korn when he was like 12 years old, and because Korn's bass player couldn't go, so he as a 12-year-old was playing for Korn. He's like a badass. He's a badass kid, and I think he's 17 now. But he can also play guitar, and he did the guitar solo. He laid additional tracks on top of Master of Puppets, and Robert Trujillo's kid is the one who played that solo that they used. Because it's not exactly they have the song underneath it, but there is a solo. You could tell the solo's been played again on top, and it's Metallica's bassist son did that, and then they had a guy named Aiden Fisher is a badass guitar player. He was the hand model that went in and like the stunt double that played it on camera.
Stunt hand.
Yeah, stunt hand, because but it's pretty cool that the actor who plays Eddie Munson, he practiced guitar for a year. As soon as he heard he was going to do that, he started playing. So when he's playing, he's really playing the song. But when it gets to the heavy hitting, they're like, okay, up close on his hands, and they have Aiden jump in and do the fancy stuff. But he could actually play the song minus the solo, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, I thought it was neat. That's another thing too is Stranger Things has put Master of Puppets on the Spotify charts, is number 12 on the Spotify charts. So now we have Kate Bush and Metallica with old 80s material on the charts. I think that's neat.
Somebody
Curtis,
called that last week. Who was it? Who called that last week?
Maybe Charlie?
Maybe. I don't know. Somebody.
Yeah. What do you guys think about any of this? I know you haven't. I know, Derek, you haven't seen the latest season, but what do you think about a show playing old music and putting it on the charts?
I feel like that's been happening. I feel like I know, like when Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, like everybody listened to that soundtrack all over the place.
Good soundtrack.
Yeah, and like James Gunn brought all those songs back, and like now it's just kind of, I'm sure it wasn't the first one to do it, but I feel like it was the most recent one that started, like everyone started to do it now. Like let's bring this old music back. It's really good. Yeah, it's really, that's why I love music and art in general, because it never dies. It's there forever. We're still listening to Prince, Elvis, like all that stuff. Like it's great, and it always just comes back eventually. It's wonderful.
I think I'm gonna start listening to a lot of soundtracks. I was talking to Charlie, who was on last week, and his favorite movie is Django, and he was saying that he listens to that soundtrack all the time. And I go, wow, dude, Tarantino has some really good music in a lot of his movies. I need to go get some Tarantino or go get it. Like I don't listen on my phone anymore. Like we're living in the 90s. But yeah, I need to go get some CDs, man. Some Tarantino CDs. Yeah, I need to check that out because I tend to listen to a lot of the same stuff when I go back to listen to music. And I'm like, dude, I have the unlimited music in the palm of my hand, but I still listen to the same songs over and over and over again. It's weird. What do you think, Cameron, about Metallica giving a high five to Stranger Things? And I heard I saw some article with some, like, I guess it was some metal guy that was like, dude, it was totally lame. Like they had the music underneath and blah blah, and I'm like, what a miserable human being. If you didn't get fired up from that scene, you're just miserable, dude. Like, seriously, what did you think about it?
Watching it, I loved it, but I have some quarrels. Let's just
What do you got?
I think it's great. I love the Metallica's all about it. I love that they're supporting it, but that song came out in March of '86. Stranger Things, that season is taking place in March of '86. Eddie was on the run for about a week, probably. So that leaves maybe a week somewhere in there for him to have learned that song fully by ear, note for note, to crush it.
That's how good Eddie is, man.
I guess Eddie's just that. So Eddie's either an amazing guitar player, or I'm not buying it. Sorry, I have to nitpick that.
Well,
Also, where the hell did they get all the electricity in the Upside Down for him to jam that loud? Did they bring a battery down there or something? It's dark as hell down there, but he's playing loud as hell, like there's a lot of electricity. I don't believe there's.
You don't think there's electricity in the Upside Down?
I don't. Who's running the power plant? It's a barren wasteland. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you about the Upside Down with all of my Stranger Things knowledge.
Give it to us, Derek. You got some Upside Down knowledge?
So, the Upside Down, Cameron. Pay attention. I'm okay. Move on. I'm just making an ass of myself.
Curtis, what do you think about that? That's an interesting factor. I was doing the math. I was like, I was kind of thinking about that. I'm like, hey, what year did that come out? They were talking about Kate Bush, and what year did that come out? Because I'd read the article where Winona Ryder was fact checking the writers and the directors, like, this song is from this is 82. That song didn't come out till 85. Like she's done that along the way. What do you think about what Cameron just said?
No, I like I said, I think that it just shows how awesome Eddie was. Eddie was what's the character Samwise Gamgee in like season 2? What's his name?
Sean Austin.
Yeah. Like Eddie felt like somebody who'd been there the whole time. And he was literally only there for this season. And not to spoil anything at all, but the real love story is not between Lucas and Max. It's between Eddie and Dustin, and it's beautiful and it's glorious.
I agree.
Now, but that being said, I did kind of feel like what Cameron was saying. I was like, yeah, what is that? But they've never actually said that the power doesn't work in the Upside Down.
True.
But I was feeling the same thing. I was like, what? I just assumed, nothing's on, nothing's working. Like I just assumed the same thing, and all of a sudden it does. But so I guess I just kind of went with it, like rolled with it, like all right, I guess they've never shown that it is true, never shown that the power doesn't work. But yeah, it always that one kind of grabbed me a little bit. I was like,
oh damn, we're gonna go deep theory. I got a deep theory. He just said something that triggered a thought. Okay, so
what do you got?
What's happening is when Vecna lands in the Upside Down, there's not really much there, and maybe you go into some deep quantum physics theories that we're creating our reality with consciousness, and consciousness affects matter. So what if part of the lore of the Upside Down is that Vecna has created everything there with his consciousness, and his consciousness produces matter and stuff to happen in the Upside Down. And maybe if you go to the Upside Down, your consciousness is stronger there, and you can materialize things with matter if you learn. Maybe that's my theory on the lore is your consciousness is stronger in the Upside Down to materialize matter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Cool, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe there was just like an extension cord hanging from the ceiling that we didn't see in the later shot.
That's what I was
thinking.
One
They
of
just
those
brought an
orange
extension
ones,
cord.
the really long orange ones. And why didn't they just climb up the extension cord to get out of there? I don't understand.
I guess Curtis smoked less weed today. So.
Oh boy. Well, here's another fun thing. David Harbour, he said the prop at the end for Nerd Alert. The prop at the end of episode 9 is the Atlantean sword from the Conan films. The real prop that they used in this movie. A fan found a still when it was established. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So anyway, he got to. David Harbour was super stoked. He got to use Conan's sword. Like, look at that. That's that sword right there. He got to use. Super awesome. What do you think of that, Curtis? In particular, Curtis, you like Conan?
I
Did
do.
you notice that sword? And am I the only one that was like, where the fuck did that sword come from? I was watching, like, there's just a random sword. I'm like, that's a pretty badass sword. That's super weird. In Russia? What's up?
I absolutely noticed it was Conan's sword, but I was the same thing. I was like, did I miss something? Apparently, it's a scene from earlier when the guys die, and I didn't notice it at that time. But when he picks it up, I was like, oh shit. Like, so the Eddie Munson scene that we were just talking about, they describe it in the show as the most metal moment ever. And then I saw this scene and I was like, no, that's the fucking most metal moment ever. Killing a Demogorgon with Conan's sword. I paused it, rewound it, and brought my son, Conan, and showed him this scene. I'm like, look at that. Like, and he's like, oh, cool, Dad. But I'm like, fuck yeah. It was so badass.
Super awesome.
Fire, machine guns. The Demogorgon's like, whatever. And he gets that Conan sword and he just fucking whoops his. That's the most metal moment ever.
It was pretty glorious. The whole season, man. I was very pleased. This is by far this has been my favorite Stranger Things season out of all of them. I think. I started thinking, they're getting older. They're starting to outgrow this show. This show needs to hang it up. Is kind of what I was starting to think. I'm like, I still enjoy it, but it's like, okay, it's almost time, guys. Like it's been a while. It might need to. And then this season just completely kicked ass. So, they're doing one more. They're all gonna have full on 5 o'clock shadow very soon. So they gotta wrap it up. But I'm glad we're getting one more season. What do you guys at home? Did you like this final or this second to final season of Stranger Things? Let us know in the comments. And let's talk to the chat for a sec.
Ramlin Pickler says, if only there was a scene where they got supplies. Maybe I'm just a jackass and totally missed the extension cord and they had supplies.
No, there wasn't an extension cord. I was right there with you. Like, that's all they had to do is have one frame where there's an extension cord hanging down. Like, that's it.
That would have been. That's weird. I mean, I guess they have electricity from. Yeah, that's weird. That's super funny, man. Like I said, I enjoyed this whole show. I haven't been watching. Says Kim. I'm gonna wait until it's all done and then binge it. Well, there's 4 seasons completely done, and you're probably gonna have to wait 2 years for the 5th season to come out. So. But I'm telling you,
watch them slow. You could probably, by the time the 5th season comes out, you could probably be ready. Like if you watch it real slow, but it's hard to watch slow. That's
you can watch, a couple of them a week. Whenever when you got time, and you probably be just right as long as you don't do a, 10 a night. It will be worth it. This show's awesome, but it is nice to be tied into current events and be able to hang out with people and they're like yeah, so then you're like stop I haven't seen it yet. You can't be part of the conversation. Stop it, Clint, quit talking about Stranger Things on YouTube. Well, let's go on to the next thing, man. This is gonna be fun because I know Derek loves Star Wars.
Yeah,
I know Curtis likes Star Wars. Cameron, do you like Star Wars?
I'm a pretty casual Star Wars fan, but I watch everything and I like it, but I'm not picky. I just I understand I'm watching a space fantasy and I'm in it,
Yeah, well, I really love Star Wars. And to show how much, I made this intro with mouth trumpet. That's right. I made that intro with mouth trumpet. All right, and let's go on to we got some Andor news. I also made this song. According to Empire Magazine, the first season of Andor will center around Cassian Andor's life as an operative for the Rebellion and cover 1 year of his life across 12 episodes. However, Andor Season 2 will cover 4 years total, jumping 1 year ahead every 3 episodes. I am fired up for this show. Yes, I made that. I made that. Yeah, man, guys, I'm excited for the Andor show. It looks like it's going to be super good. Like I said, if you don't know who the hell is Cassian Andor, I'm a casual Star Wars fan. But if you've seen Rogue One, Cassian Andor is the guy that helps. He's the rebel guy that helps out. Diego Luna is the actor. He's fantastic, and he's like the poor man's Pedro Pascal. I'm just kidding. No, he's like Diego Luna's fantastic. He's hilarious too. If you get bored, watch a video, do a search for him being interviewed by Conan O'Brien, and he gives some Spanish terms and things you need to survive to speak Spanish. One of them is no mames. There's a bunch of good ones, but yeah, que pedo, no mames. There's some really good ones. But anyway, getting on with this, yeah, the first season is going to be a year of his life, 12 episodes. So that's like a month an episode. That's cool. This is it's going to have Stellan Skarsgård, which is exciting because he's badass, and it's going to basically show how he was a completely different person, and then he kind of gets recruited in to the rebellion, and then the second season is going to be the 4 years leading up to Rogue One, which leads into A New Hope, and I think it's going to be fantastic because it talks about a bunch of cool. And when I read some stuff up here. The scale of the show is so huge. Gilroy explained directors work in blocks of 3 episodes. That's all the stuff I just said. Gilroy previously billed Andor as a spy thriller that uses sideways storytelling to reframe the 2016 film trilogy. It's about him being really revolution averse and cynical and lost and kind of a mess. Gilroy said of subverting Star Wars fans' expectations with the story following Andor into adulthood after the destruction of his world. His adopted home will become the base for the whole first season, and we watch that place become radicalized, Gilroy continued. Then we see another planet that's completely taken apart in a colonial kind of way. The Empire is expanding rapidly. They're wiping out anybody who's in their way. So this is exciting to me, just because, like, we see all of the Force stuff, we see all these other things, but to actually see what's up with the rebellion and to see the Empire as they take control and to see them using, they're going to be using all kinds of propaganda and things, and it's weird because they're going to have radicalized people, and we already saw a little bit of it with the driver of that cart in the Obi-Wan series, but they're like, oh, the rebellion's good, it's order and this and that, and I think it's going to be interesting to see that. I'm wondering, well, what about you guys? Anybody else? Derek, you excited for Andor?
I am. I loved Rogue One, and that was one of my favorite things about it, was seeing how it was for the lower level rebels, not the Skywalkers and the Han Solos and the people that are the main characters of the story that always live, but the ones that are like down in the thick of it every day, having to get their hands dirty, like that scene in Rogue One where Andor had to shoot his buddy in the back to escape. It's like, that's dark, and I like that. I really like seeing. I'm excited to see this part of the rebellion versus the Empire with maybe a younger Empire, because with the original trilogy it's very much established, so maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of, exactly, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it's like you get to see a lot of the espionage and a lot of the weird underhanded war stuff. It's like we're watching, it's just going to be an espionage spy thriller. So spy stuff is cool, but in a Star Wars universe, that makes it interesting. Cameron, what do you think?
I like it. I think it's going to be cool. Stellan Skarsgård, I mean, I just hope they don't waste his talent, because he could I mean, he's a great character actor, and I think whatever he's going to be doing will be fun. I think maybe Mary Elizabeth Taylor, is that her name? I know it's Mary Elizabeth something.
Yeah.
She's a badass. So if she's going to be somewhere in there too, I'm ready for Ahsoka. I think I love what's her name, Rosario Dawson. So is she going to be in it?
Yeah, I'm actually about to get into some Ahsoka conversation here in just a second.
Oh, sorry to skip ahead.
No,
but
it's all good.
Yeah, I like it. I want to see it. I like what Derek said. Like seeing those lower level stories. Not all about the Luke Skywalker. Show me like what it's like for these everyday Star Wars lives. Maybe what it was like. So I like to see some stuff like that.
I think that stuff's cool. Like Bill Burr kind of gets into that in the episodes that he's in on The Mandalorian, where he helps them break into that rebel base or not the Imperial base to get on that computer. The episode where Mando takes his helmet off, it's like they're supposed to be on different sides, and Mando is like not. Is not cutting him any slack. He's like, whatever, we're nothing alike. And he's like, we're pretty alike. You know what I mean? It's when the shoe's on the other foot, and everybody is one way and has their set of rules or morals until something pushes that line back, and like for him, he's like, what, you don't take your helmet off, but you will take your helmet off as long as nobody's looking and put another helmet on, he's like, what's the rule? You can't take your helmet off or you can't actually be seen, you know what I mean? What's the rule? Like the lines get blurry and when the tough it's when things get tough, and then they show that scene with him where he gets pissed at that one guy and shoots that one commander because he's like, you sacrificed my whole platoon and all my friends just to win a battle and treated us like we were disposable. And he gets pissed and ends up killing that guy. And I'm like, all of a sudden, instead of stormtroopers being these just things in white plastic that can't shoot anything, all of a sudden you just turned this into a real thing with real cost. Like these aren't like robot-looking troopers in white plastic. These are human beings that are like losing their friends in battle, and it all of a sudden really humanizes it, and it puts stakes, and it makes for real drama. And like I think Bill Burr killed it in that scene in Mando because of that. That was probably my favorite scene of that whole season. I think that's cool. So now all of a sudden, you might get a little bit of that on this. You're going to show the rebel side of things, but you might show some Imperial side of things to where they maybe feel bad they're having to wipe out a village or whatever. And there's stakes. And I think that with the right storytelling, there's some opportunities for some really good stuff. And the fact that Gilroy did Rogue One proves he saved Rogue One. Rogue One was a mess. He came in and fixed it, and I think there's some real opportunity. They're also switching directors every 3 episodes, at least on the second where they're doing it. They're doing it in chunks, and they're going to switch directors and stuff, and he's going to supervise. So that's pretty cool. Curtis, what do you think, man?
I think that any expanded universe is what I want. I think that Mandalorian proved that. And Rogue One was, I think I'm going to say, the best of the new Star Wars movies. I like it still. To me, I like that. I might argue with myself later on, but it's always been one of my favorite. Rogue One was like of the new Star Wars movies that have come out. Like I think it was the best one. To see more of that story, I am very much for. When it comes to the 12 episodes, I really like that because Disney still hasn't figured out how to pace a show yet. Everything like reaches ahead at episode 5 or like 4.5. So we might actually get decent pacing and thematic elements within a 12 episode series. So that we're not like, okay, this show's fine until like episode 5 or 6. I'm like, oh, that was awesome. Besides Mando, of course, Mando's on its own level. But I want to see more of this. I want to see more. I don't want to see more Skywalker stuff. I don't want to see more. Yeah, I want to see more expanded universe with these people, with the characters that we kind of know or don't know, but they're in that universe. Like that's what we've been wanting for a long time. That's what the books gave us, but the movies and the shows, they're starting to.
The other thing about this show too is it's going to be filmed in Europe, and I've heard that there's a volume stage in England too. I don't know that for a fact, but I've heard that there's one. They're starting to build them in different places now. But judging from the trailer that we've seen and the footage that I've seen, it looks epic. And I think epic. Sorry. And I think that maybe they're not doing everything on a volume stage like where you're going to have a Book of Boba situation where everything looks like Mayberry. You know what I mean? Like, and like, cause the footage that I've seen looks badass. So I'm excited about that. I'm like, cool, 12 episodes? Like Disney's given us more than 5 or 6 episodes? Sweet. Filmed in a cool setting where it's like everything looks epic. It looks like a movie. I have a feeling they were like, he said, hey, if I'm gonna do this, I don't want it to look like the Book of Boba Fett. Can we, you know?
And at the same time,
BRB.
with 12 episodes with this show, like with the setting that it is, you know, the espionage stuff that's going on, like we might actually see other planets. There are so many freaking cool planets, and they keep bringing us back to Tatooine, the desert planet. Like okay, like we get it, Tatooine, yeah, but there's so many other cool planets and other things going on in the Star Wars universe. Like you can take us somewhere else that's not Tatooine.
Totally, dude.
Yeah.
Like, every single show seems to lead back to Tatooine every time. It's like, dude, can we see? I want to see Dagobah, even a crappy swamp, anything. Like, give me something. I think the new Mandalorian is, you know, it's going to be taking place on Mandalore, so that's going to be cool.
Right? Yeah.
What do you think, Derek?
Yes.
Yes, give me something other than Tatooine.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they keep going back to Tatooine. I mean, you have to for Obi-Wan. But even in Mandalorian, what have we seen Tatooine like 3 times now? In the Mandalorian,
At least.
something like that. And
I mean,
but yeah, I mean, there's Dathomir. I am excited for Mandalore because we've only seen I think we've only seen Mandalore in the Clone Wars animated show.
Yeah.
So to see that live action would be really, really cool. I saw a post today that I was talking about Dathomir, and it's like we've got this planet of like Amazon. Have you seen it? Like
No.
Amazon dominatrix witches that do magic, and we keep going back to Tatooine.
Yeah, give me some dominatrix witches. I'm down.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
But like continuing off of that, and like because you know Taika Waititi is doing Star Wars, and he talked about like wanting to introduce. We might have even talked about this on the show already. I don't remember, but he wants to really badly introduce a new story with new characters in a new area, like completely all new stuff, and I cannot wait for that. So yeah, give me all the new stuff with Star Wars. I think we're finally. I feel like Disney wanted to kind of bring us into familiarity, which is why I think they started off kind of doing what they're doing, and now that Mandalorian was so successful and all these other things and Rogue One was so successful, now I think they're starting to get comfortable expanding on that, and now I'm getting really excited about it.
Dude, I am too, man. There's some really cool stuff too. I'll show you. Like in this Andor show, like I'm wondering what they're gonna go if we're gonna have like cameos from other shows that are gonna show up, because I saw this thing. If you look, there's Stellan Skarsgård, excuse me. If you look behind him, that's Mandalorian armor right there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was like, are they? I'm like, that looks suspiciously like Mando's armor, but yeah, is that going to be related somehow? I was like, we just watched Obi-Wan. We had the Path, right? The Path basically turned into a rebel cell. They were more of an Underground Railroad situation, but now they straight up went and used the snow speeders that they used in Empire Strikes Back to attack the Inquisitor fortress and save their people. You know, save Obi-Wan and Leia. So I'm like, are we gonna see? Like now we got the Path could cross over with Andor, maybe possibly somehow, which could also cross over. You've got the new episode's gonna be on Mandalore. Obi-Wan, his basically secret girlfriend is Bo-Katan's sister. he had a romance with Bo-Katan's sister, so Obi-Wan's related to that. You also, and this is all in Ahsoka, and like could all like could spill over into Mando, or it could spill over into Ahsoka, because the Ahsoka show you've got Hayden Christensen supposed to be in Ahsoka, also, and so
Clint's brain is exploding right now.
It is. There's too many connections. I'm like so. It really is. So look here, and recently, so the Path now is a rebel unit. So are we gonna? They could just do a long distance like hologram communication from people in the Path, like or just reference it. They don't even have like, oh yeah, our people in the Path, blah blah blah. So I'm like, all of a sudden now we're gonna have Obi-Wan connected to Andor, which we know that you see Darth Vader show up at the end of Rogue One. So. Oh, it's crazy. So we get the Path. Then recently at Star Wars Celebration, we got, they showed some people from Rebels. So we got Star Wars Rebels. If any of y'all saw that, well, at Celebration, they showed Chopper. They had him come out, and it's looking like Ahsoka is going to be basically a continuation of Rebels. You got Rosario Dawson with Chopper there, and then you have Natasha Liu Bordizzo next to him over there. That is the lady that's going to play Sabine Wren, who's a Mandalorian graffiti artist. And then the exciting thing too is they showed a preview, a little teaser of Ahsoka. And we saw Hera Syndulla. And if you're a Rebels fan, you know who that is. And it's right here. Boom. On the left. That's Hera. I'll play it again.
Ooh.
Boom.
On your left.
Boom. Hera walking in. And that was a clip. It hasn't gone. Somebody leaked that. And so that's super exciting. So we don't know who's going to play Hera, but there are theories because Mary Elizabeth Winstead has been cast in Ahsoka, but they don't know who it's going to be. I would think she's going to play an Imperial officer of some sort. She's kind of has more of she doesn't have a chipper presence as far as I'm concerned, but she is an actress, and she's also kind of a badass. She's done really well in some action roles, so she could do. I think she could do Hera Syndulla. And here's again, if you look at the build on Hera, like. It's probably her. I'm thinking that's Mary Elizabeth Winstead on the left, which is exciting. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Rosario Dawson. You've got Natasha Liu Bordizzo. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny. You got Mina Masood has been cast. He was the Aladdin live action Aladdin. He's supposed to be Ezra Bridger. Not Ezra Miller, Ezra Bridger, and of course you got Hayden Christensen who's going to be in this, and then you got Ray Stevenson, who's going to be in this also. Who you know him as the Punisher. He was in Rome. He's badass. There's a lot of cool casting, and they got Lars Mikkelsen doing Thrawn, and Lars Mikkelsen is the voice of Thrawn in the animated series, and he's super badass. And if you've seen him in any other shows, you know he is terrifying. Actor and just awesome. So the cast is gonna be fantastic in this show. I'm really excited. And again, Sabine Wren is Mandalorian. She could show up in Mandalorian season 3 on Mandalore. She knows Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan knows all these people. It's all of a sudden everything is all connected, and I know people are pissed because they're like, "Hey, you shouldn't be able to go down the street in Tatooine and then run into all your favorite characters from Star Wars." But it's getting pretty exciting and cool. Like I'm excited about this shit.
Everybody goes to Tatooine.
Yeah, it's. What do you think, man? Derek, I know you're a big Star Wars guy. What do you think about all this? Like I started just digging a little bit and seeing all the casting for Ahsoka got me really excited. And then when I thought about the crossover possibilities between the other shows and what's going on and all of this stuff, this is not like, hey, we're just going to throw Luke in there and you know what I mean? This is some cool. We're expanding now. It's expanding into other things, and I think they could take Grand Admiral Thrawn and really run with it because that show when I started watching Rebels, I thought this is a little bit too kiddie for me, and then I got sucked into that show, and it's badass. So,
Yeah. I have not been looking into it because I like to just get surprised. So I'll probably only watch the teaser and then be done and then just mark it in my calendar when it releases and then watch it. But I love that they got, what's his, Mina Masood? Is that how you say it?
yeah, Mina Masood.
Mina Masood. I love that they got him because I remember after Aladdin, like, that dude couldn't get work, which I thought was garbage. So that's awesome. And that he's playing Ezra. That's really cool. I love this cast. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead ever since I saw Scott Pilgrim, and she was awesome in The Birds of Prey too.
Yeah.
So whoever she plays, I'm excited. No, this is great, and I loved Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. I thought her episode, The Jedi, that was such a good episode. So yeah, and I didn't know that they were going to bring people from Rebels in because I haven't finished Rebels, so I don't know where that story leaves off. So this is I got to finish that. I'm way excited. This is going to be great.
Any of you guys that have not been watching that kind of fell off on Rebels that are sleeping on Rebels, go finish watching it because it's important. It's going to lead right into this stuff. Dave Filoni, he did Rebels, and he created Ahsoka, and a lot of these are his babies that he's bringing in. He's bringing that part of the universe in, and he's kind of basically. George Lucas kind of passed the torch to him. He used to work under George Lucas, and they did a lot of this stuff together. And, having him on set and heavily involved is like really, I think, keeps it true to a lot of George Lucas's vision. And I think that's super cool. So, yeah. Well, let's move on. Go finish watching Rebels. Get excited for Ahsoka. That show's going to kick ass. Andor's going to kick ass, and I can't wait for more Mando, of course. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Are you excited about up-and-coming Star Wars stuff? Let us know in the comments. And how we doing over here in the chat? You guys doing all right over there? Huh?
They're still thinking about Stranger Things.
They're still pondering Stranger Things. Well, let's get into some other strange things. We're about to get into Thor here in a minute, but first we're going to talk a little bit about this. Boom. If we can get, there we go. She-Hulk is the antithesis of most superhero narratives, says Tatiana Maslany. I'm excited for She-Hulk also. I don't know about you guys. But that I think She-Hulk's going to be badass. But there was an article that I read that basically says Maslany says she's really the antithesis of most superhero narratives, she tells Empire. Most notably, Walters is someone who really tries to run from her newfound abilities. There's this great element of denial in her that's relatable. For me, it was about rejecting what's happened for as long as I could, as that's what causes the fun and the tension between Jennifer Lawrence and She-Hulk. That's not the only tension either. Her with her transformation also affecting her career as a high-flying lawyer, cue a pivot to taking on superhuman law cases. She's in a career that's male-dominated and incredibly vicious and hierarchical, Maslany explains. When she's heading the superhero firm, that's where we get some really fun. This is where it gets good. That's where we get some really fun characters that she's either defending or in a position of. It's like this really absurd take on a legal show. I think that's really cool because that last end of the thing says that kind of tells me we're going to get a lot of cameos from different things. She's heading up a superhero legal firm basically that protects and prosecutes superheroes. So there's a lot of ridiculous shit that could come from this. Either superheroes destroying stuff, they're getting sued by the city, defamation. Like I don't know. I think that could be pretty cool. I know we got we got Abomination is supposed to be in it, and I just wonder what other characters we're gonna see. Is it gonna be the same characters that we keep seeing in all these shows, or are there gonna be new like Easter eggs? They're gonna start pulling out B characters that we've seen in the comics but didn't ever think they'd bring to the MCU. That's a possibility too. Curtis, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think this is going to be great. This She-Hulk comics were spectacular. They all, it definitely was a procedural kind of law thing, and they worked really well. It's a different type of comic book. It's leans more towards comedy, which Marvel's apparently trying to do anyway, but at least it's done well in the comic, and it makes sense to push the story along. And it does have a lot of cameos by a lot of stars, like the ones that you're not going to see in Endgame and stuff like that. You might see in this show. Matt Murdock is probably going to be a part of it. Daredevil is a lawyer. He's a big side character in the comics, so he's going to be part of it at bare minimum. But there's going to have a lot of people, in this show, and it's just going to be good. Like if they do it correctly, it's just going to be great.
Yeah, if you don't mess it up, this could be fantastic. I agree with you. Cameron, what do you think, man? I know you're a big Marvel fan.
I want to see some fourth wall breaks. That's what I'm excited for. I think everybody always goes to Deadpool as the fourth wall breaker, but it was She-Hulk first in the comics to, start cracking the fourth wall. So I think it'd be cool if they honored that a little bit. I heard rumors of Frogman, which would be hilarious. So, yeah, we hope we get these just crazy, quirky cameos that don't belong in an endgame scenario, but everybody wants to see. And if we don't get Daredevil, I quit Marvel. I'll quit everything. You'll never see me on the show again. It'll be such a wasted opportunity. But
they have to. They have to.
They have to.
Yeah. How about you, Derek?
Yeah. I need Matt Murdock. I need more Matt Murdock. Daredevil is my favorite Marvel thing of all the Marvel things that they put out so far. My favorite Marvel characters to read have been Daredevil, Deadpool, and Thor. And oh my god, my favorite part of No Way Home, spoiler alert, was when Matt Murdock showed up. His cameo was my favorite part of the whole movie. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just an episode, like he's consulting with She-Hulk or whatever, like that'd be good enough for me. Because I mean, we can already tell that they're starting to bring him and Kingpin back, and yeah, I don't know much about She-Hulk, but I'm definitely willing to give it a shot. I don't have high or low expectations. I'm just going to enjoy it, hopefully.
Ooh, this just made me think of something. Theory time. What if we get to see what was her name? Hawkeye's mom, the one she went sent to jail at the end of that season. What if we get a cameo from her somehow? Either she's defending her or against that case.
Ooh,
so
I bet
way to tie some things
yeah.
together. Get some Kingpin action. Daredevil could come in.
Vera.
Oh
Vera,
yeah,
yeah.
Vera Farmiga. Yeah, but what if she's
Dude, you're right.
What if she's defending Vera
I
Farmiga, and then Daredevil has to come in and be like, "No, this chick needs to be in jail. She's with Kingpin." You know what I mean? So that'd be cool. I don't know. That's just an idea.
And then you've got Kingpin hiring, because everybody knows rich bad guys have lawyers. You know what I mean? Like I need to hire you to represent Vera. That was a bad impression of Vincent D'Onofrio. I deeply regret doing that instantly. Please scrub this from the internet. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
No, I'm gonna say I did hear some wild rumors too. That apparently the Thing is going to. Well, I don't know if it's the Thing or Ben Grimm, who is the Thing, is going to appear in this series to set up Fantastic Four. That may or may not be true. I could see that actually. That would make sense to me, because She-Hulk is an A-list character. She has led the Avengers. She's led her own book. She's straight up an A-list character. She was part of the Fantastic Four for a time. She took over the heavy hitter spot whenever the Thing left. So that kind of makes sense, to build a relationship there. However, I read that they were going to put that they had cast. This is not, to my knowledge, anything official, but Jason Segel as Ben Grimm / the Thing.
I read that too.
And Jason, I love Jason Segel, but that's just maybe he can make it work. He's
Well,
If you don't know who he is, he's the guy from How I Met Your Mother. He's the tall guy
Getting
from
Sarah Marshall.
I love you, man.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I love you, man. I really like that guy, but that just seems like a bad casting. Now, Paul Rudd made Ant-Man work, but Ant-Man was kind of a character that is built for comedy. He's kind of like that works. Like the character, the Thing is a very hyper emotional character. Like he is the heart and soul of maybe even the Marvel universe. Like he has these powers and he doesn't want them. He wants to be human, and it just I don't know. Like that.
It's interesting though, like you know what I mean, and it's an interesting choice. Like, and are we going to see him before, and then he turns to the Thing, or is it like, hey, the whole time he's CGI, so you could have anybody as long as they're a good actor, because you want a fantastic dramatic actor to play him. So, unless they have Taika Waititi direct it, and then they just make a clown out of the Thing.
Yeah,
Curtis, I just got.
We can go down that road. I'm ready.
I just made him pucker up. Let's see. Well, we'll see. Like I think She-Hulk is going to be really good. And I really hope that that they can get a handle on the CGI. There was a whole bunch of criticism when it first came out, and although they make me laugh, I would like. Because I like Tatiana Maslany. I want the show to win. I don't want it to be a mockery of people talking smack. I don't want this to be the Batgirl of of this universe. You know what I mean? Everybody like, and I keep seeing memes like this, you know, where they're like they make her look like Fiona, and I'm like, oh my god, that hurts because it's it's you know, come on, man. Yeah. Like it sucks because I want Tatiana Maslany to win in this role, and I think she's badass. So,
let me just nip this in the bud real quick.
Nip it in the bud, dude.
All right, everyone, please just get on your phones and open the Disney Plus app or something that's not YouTube, Facebook, or where the compression is terrible, and you lose all of the CGI quality they've put into these shots. So you look at it, and it does look like Fiona from Shrek, but when it makes it to the TV and it's lossless quality and you're watching it on the screen, you'll see the pores stretch and the skin will look like skin, and everybody needs to chill out.
Well, it's still early too. They want to put out a teaser, so they still have some special effects touch-ups to do. It's the same thing that happens with every superhero reveal. That suit looks terrible. The CGI looks bad. It's like it's new. Give it. Just wait.
Yeah, and I mean, and the internet's just vicious anyway. You know what I mean? They're gonna make fun of anything they can.
And I thought it was fine too. That even the first time around, it probably wasn't the best in the world. But that's the thing, you got all these spoiled ass millennials with their avocado toast and all that bullcorn, you know, and just used to a spectacular CGI. You didn't grow up in the early years of CGI like some of us, where it's like, what is that? Is that a dog or is it a lizard? I think it's a dog, but it might be a lizard. I don't know. We lived through some shitty CGI. That's good CGI. Yeah, we lived through and you buy a Sega Genesis and it looks better. It's like, oh my god, that's
dude.
This is okay. It's fine.
With your avocado toast, you're starting to sound like James Cameron over there. Tone it down.
Get off of my lawn. Watch my 3-hour movie.
Some of us millennials saw the bad CGI. Now Gen Z, I don't know about them.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys at home think? Are you guys excited about She-Hulk? Let us know in the comments. How about you guys in the chat? How are we doing over here? Kim, they're still talking about Stranger Things. Still talking about Stranger Things over there.
Enthralled to chat.
Well, we're getting down to our last couple of subjects because we don't have we got a little time, but not a lot of time. But I think we're gonna get down and dirty on this next topic. Yeah, down and dirty. So. Here we go, guys. Well, let's talk about the boys real quick, and then we'll end with Thor, just in case somebody doesn't want to spoil Thor. Let's talk about the boys. What did you guys think of the finale, real quick, for the boys? Let me throw the boom, the boys finale. Woo! What do you guys think?
I want to hear Curtis's opinion.
Curtis, what did you think of the finale for you? You just got real sad a little while ago. We just mentioned the boys finale. You're like,
I
that
didn't
was a
realize
finale.
it was a finale. Yeah.
That's it. Like, what do you think, man? What did you think of last night's episode or today's episode?
I thought it was, today's episode. Yeah, I thought it was spectacular. And thinking
wait,
back,
Wait, don't
go ahead.
spoil too much because he hasn't seen
No,
it
I'm
yet.
not gonna.
Okay.
No spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But but looking back, once y'all said that, it is a good stopping point. It is a good place to, continue or like stop for next season. I just didn't want it to. I figured they'd have like 9 episodes or maybe like, but it is very, very much a good stopping point. I thought it was spectacular. And this show, I literally just caught up with it not even a month ago, and it just keeps getting better and better, and I just didn't want it to end. It's so good. Every performance is great. I can't wait.
How about you, Cameron? What did you think about it?
I thought it was awesome. Just to, I don't know, recap the whole season, I love seeing how they do everything that Disney can't do. Like with like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when the I don't even want to know, a U.S. agent pretty much beheads someone probably with the shield, but they can't show that. Well, the boys, you get to see it, and it's epic. And like, I just love that they can go everywhere Disney can't. And I just haven't seen an episode where there's not 4 or 5 moments where it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe I just watched that on TV.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like orgies. And I mean, what other show can you watch where all of a sudden a giant penis snake just goes, like we're like.
I mean, there's a lot of them, but I mean, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like, oh my God, like what is happening? But yeah, and I also love how this show doesn't. The boys doesn't pick and choose. They make fun of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one is safe. There's no organization or movement that is safe from mockery. Like you will get mocked because life really is ridiculous and human beings have a tendency to take things too far. Just in general, you give a human being an inch, they'll take a mile, and it doesn't matter if it's a good cause or a bad cause or what. It's just the way it is. It's human nature, and they notice. And they take notice, and they make fun of everything. I love that about this show. Derek, what do you think, man?
I love how they just keep. You think that they've gone as ridiculous as they're gonna get, and then they go a step further. I mean, they did it in the first episode of season 3 with the
opening scene,
the
God,
shrinking and the entry and. Cool.
Yeah, they're like, I got an idea.
just on
Urethra.
that when he said enter me, I did not. That's the last hole I expected the entering to happen. They just.
But
spoiler alert.
That's The Boys is a show that I like that it's weekly because it stresses me out so much. I get so invested in what's going on in that, and like at any moment is this the time that Homelander snaps? I don't know. But something happens. I'm like, okay, I can't watch 2 in a row because I will have anxiety. So that's a good one for a weekly release because I can't. I love it so much, but I get way too invested, and then it gives me.
It is stressful, but
Can't go to bed.
That's the other thing too about the show is it's like there's some real drama though. There's like they're ridiculous, but then there's also some like great storytelling and like real relationships and drama and stakes and like in like things like love and like there's some real stakes and some genuine resentments and
every episode there's stakes, man. That's good. I'm sorry that every episode there's stakes. That's a spectacular point.
Yeah, it's just it's serious drama, and it's hilarious that you can have you can have ridiculous Mad Magazine humor, like just which that's an old callback, but just ridiculous, over the top humor that's making fun of things that a 13-year-old boy it's like, oh, let's put a big wiener in there. They'll do it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you have very sophisticated plot lines and drama thrown into this to where it's like you want to say, oh, this is just a stupid dick and fart joke show. But it's not. It's more sophisticated and has better writing than most shows on TV. This is like it's like Emmy Award level writing. It's like genius level TV writing with dick and fart jokes peppered about. What were we gonna say?
And the characters are also complicated.
Yeah,
Like nobody is just all good, all bad. It's circumstantial. Like especially in this season, it's like
Except for MM, he's all good.
well, even he has. I guess mostly he's like 90. He's 90% good. He's probably he and Starlight, I think, are probably the good guys. But I mean, I mean, there's sometimes like I remember the very beginning with A Train. I was like, "You die. I don't care what happens. You die." And even sometimes I'm like, "Well, I guess you don't have to die." But no, I already said you have to die.
Yeah, that's bad.
And Homelander's got like some real like weird kinks with the milk and stuff that we've seen on other seasons too, or like mommy issues and all kinds of weird stuff that we've seen from Homelander, and also just like the super cruel selfish human being, but then also he's got some weird weaknesses from being alone, and it's like they're very complicated characters, and it's weird because you have somebody doing some evil shit, and if you show their motivations, what made them that way, you can elicit a response of sympathy from a viewer, how you're like confused, you're like, I hate this guy's guts, but all of a sudden I feel sorry for him, and now I don't blame him for all these terrible things, which is a theme that spills over into Thor that we're about to talk about. But I think they've done a very good job at showing, in even flipping it, where the people in The Boys that are supposed to be the heroes, all of a sudden you start getting pissed and disliking them for things that they're doing and the way that they're doing things. Curtis, what were you about to say?
No, I was just going to say it's what's so genius about this show is think about this. The show, the comic book, and everything else. Like Homelander is a Superman level hero. Superman though had a great home life. He was, had a spectacular. He was raised by humans in a human environment, and by good humans, And his escape is the Fortress of Solitude. And the Fortress of Solitude would be torture for Homelander because it would remind him of his youth. You know what I mean? Like Superman has the Fortress of Solitude to get away from humanity, and Homelander, all he wants to do is be closer to humanity. Like he could just go, he could go to any planet, and live on another planet or something like that, or just dominate and kill all the humans. Which he said, he's like, I'll do that, but he won't, because like that's the thing, he needs it so much. Like the way they've juxtaposed these characters, I don't know. Just a thought I had. I'm sorry.
It's really cool. No, you're right. It's he just wants some sort of family. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. The whole show is fantastic. But yeah, if you guys haven't been watching The Boys, go back and get caught up. Watch the show. It is amazing writing, and it's probably the best show on television that we've seen this year. Like I mean, in its genre, in its category, I would say that it's kicked the crap out of the Marvel shows and Star Wars shows. Like hands down, which is bizarre, because this is some weird side side thing that's making a mockery of all these other things. And yes, it did come from a comic. So if you're a comic guy, you can get those the comics, but it's wild. So good, such good writing. And speaking of sympathy for villains, let's talk about Thor. Guys, what do you say? It's Thor time. Thor time. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, you're sensitive to spoilers. Get the hell out of here now. Go away. Spoiler, Thor time. Spoiler, Thor time. Spoiler, Thor time. Just kidding. Okay, I'm done doing that. Yeah, also real quick, guys, if you didn't get a chance, man, do us a favor, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell to let you know whenever we're having shows or put out videos and stuff. We really appreciate it. All our patrons, thank you so much. And if you're not doing anything, here in about 28 minutes, we're going to start doing another show we're gonna have a 5-10 minute conversation about Thor, and then we're gonna hang it up and come back and do another show called Versus. Curtis and I have watched Thor: Dark World and Thor Ragnarok, which are thought to be the worst and the best Thor movies. And we're going to have a conversation breaking those movies down and talking about why they are or aren't the worst or the best. And also using our special state-of-the-art questions and tests, we're going to determine who is the champion. We should have Charlie joining us, who, if you were tuned in last week, you saw Charlie as a guest helping us fill in for Cameron, and he's going to be on with us, and it should be a good time because we're going to take this quick minimal spoiler. We're going to do minimal spoilers. We don't want to ruin this movie for everybody, but
there's not much to spoil.
Yeah,
There's not much to spoil.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about it a little even more in depth later on, I'm sure, but right now we're going to do mild spoilers. Basically, if you've seen the trailer, you know Gore the God Butcher's in it. You know the Guardians of the Galaxy are in it. You know Thor is trying to stop Gore from Thor versus Gore from killing a bunch of gods. It's not a lot of math. And if you've done any research, you know that Gore the God Butcher is angry at the gods because the gods did not help him on his desolate planet, and basically where his and it was a whole civilization of people that were worshiping these gods, and they basically had famine and all died, and Gore lost his family and his daughter, which was the most precious thing to him, his wife and daughter, and pretty much gets angry, ends up with the Necro sword, and then goes throughout the galaxy slaying gods. This is all in the comics. This is not unknown stuff. There's also a storyline of Jane Foster, and this is a mild spoiler, so cover your ears if you don't want to hear this about Jane Foster. She has cancer, and she dies, and every time she becomes Thor, it kills her more and more, and she has to gamble being a hero versus staying alive. This is all comic book stuff. This is not new stuff. This is old stuff. So this movie. That's what this is basically about, and Thor has to stop Gore from slaying gods and save the universe. So, I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoy. I know some of the guys did, and some of the guys didn't here that are here. I could tell you, for me, I enjoyed this movie in a way that I laughed a lot. I love Taika Waititi. I think Taika Waititi's awesome. I love what they do in the shadows. I think it's brilliant and hilarious and super entertaining. I don't necessarily want that in my I don't necessarily want that level of hilarity in my Thor movies all the time. Like, I've just watched Dark World and watched Ragnarok, and Ragnarok, I think, takes it about as far to the limit as I want to go. For me, this movie fell somewhere between Ragnarok and Naked Gun or Airplane or something like that. It like took it a step further from Ragnarok. And if you watch Ragnarok, you still have some of the epicness, or some of the Clash of the Titans vibe, the Gladiator vibe, the Norse god vibe. You still had that. This took it a step further into almost a parody of a mockumentary of a Marvel movie of Thor. It didn't feel like a Thor movie to me, but it was still wildly entertaining. All the Thor stuff, it was still a Marvel movie, and it was still Thor, but for me, it was just a little bit too much, and it was distracting. And I think if they'd have toned it down, I think it would have been a better movie. And I think that's why it's getting weird reviews online. Basically, Taika Waititi was left to his own devices because Ragnarok was such a hit. I think that they just let him do whatever he wants. And I think the fault of this falls on Kevin Feige. You're supposed to call him on his shit. If you're like, "Whoa, dude, you're going too far," like, you need to reel it in a little bit, reel it back. You're getting a little too Taika. If Kevin Feige. Maybe Kevin Feige was like, this is hilarious. Let it go. Maybe he's checked out because he's been in the MCU so long and supervising all of this. But Ragnarok, I think, is damn near a perfect movie. There's some corniness where it goes a little over the top, but it's still great. And it takes something like Raiders of the Lost Ark is a fun, serious movie. Then it has its elements of fun stuff. If you sprinkle it around, it makes for a beautiful, hilarious adventure. And that's what Ragnarok is. And I watched it this morning, and I was like, man, every time I watch this movie, I forget how amazing. It's a masterpiece of a comic book movie because it's not just a boring, epic movie with very serious, my father, blah, blah, blah. It gets a little ridiculous in the way that Raiders of the Lost Ark does. It makes it fun. I think Ragnarok is a perfect movie. I think this new one was really fun. I had a blast. Cameron and I were laughing our asses off. I laughed the whole movie. I had fun. Yes, it's entertaining. I don't think I want that much comedy in my Thor movies. So that's where I stand. I'm in between Cameron and Derek and Curtis. Before we go to Curtis, I want to hear what Derek thinks. What did you think about it?
You and I are almost on the exact same page. I remember one part specifically, because yeah, it was ridiculous. I thought it was hilarious, but I expected, I don't know, for me, the MCU as a whole, I feel like hasn't been taking itself seriously enough. So the fact that Love and Thunder was the way that it was didn't bother me, but there was one part in particular, and I don't want to get into spoilers, but
No, we're spoil it. But
No.
not
Talk
really.
about it.
We'll
Just,
t- we'll
just
t-
please say it. I want to know what
No,
you're
it's just
talking
like
Clint did a whole thing like where he said spoilers for 5 minutes. Let's go.
Light spoiler. When he's talking to the kids for the first time.
Okay.
That part, I'm like, okay. I'm like this
when
he's
Thor
being,
is or when Christian Bale?
When Thor is talking to the kids for the first time, I'm like, this okay. We need this is the part of the movie where we need to start taking things seriously, especially in this scene where Thor's talking to a bunch of scared children. That part, that's where I started to okay, tone it back. And this is we need to start, and they did from there. They started to, at least in my opinion, for the end. Yeah, I mean, kind of. Where was I going with that? However, in my opinion, the stuff near the end between Thor and Gore, when the stakes were finally there at the end, I felt like that was okay, as opposed to the Dark World where it was hey, let's just crack jokes about the entire last fight scene. So I thought they still did better in that aspect than Dark World, but yeah, no, I think I'm right. I think I'm right there. I think I'm right there with you. A little too ridiculous and funny for a Thor movie, but it didn't lose me.
But we also had an amazing time. It's such a confusing movie.
Yeah.
How about you, Cameron?
Well, you're wrong, Derek. Let me tell you why you're wrong, okay? Because there's things called character arcs in movies. And so when Thor's standing in that cage, he's no different from all the other gods. He's just like, oh, yeah, we'll fix this, but really just kind of more focused about myself. And then at the end, he gets to a point where he's imbuing these kids with his power and sharing his powers of the god, So I think I agree with Derek in the sense that, yeah, that's probably where it should have started getting more serious, but I was expecting a Taika Waititi silliness, and I got everything I expected. I laughed the whole time. I thought Zeus was hilarious, spinning that lightning bolt. I had fun. I like they didn't take themselves too seriously. I went there to laugh and have fun, and I got what I wanted. So I'm not gonna. There's nothing I can complain about. And comparing it to Ragnarok, I got to watch this movie a couple times before I've seen Ragnarok 80 times probably. So
yeah.
I need to see it more times before I can have a fair comparison. But I thought Christian Bale did a badass job. Everyone was great. And one thing I really liked, though, was because the blood was gold, how bloody it got to be. And it kind of just gave a slight glimpse of what the Marvel Universe could be if we got to see a little bit of blood. So
I want to clarify that scene.
Okay.
Thor is old. he shouldn't be that dumb. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. That's fair.
All right, Curtis. What are you thinking? We've heard me. I'm in the middle. I had an amazing time, but I thought it could have taken itself a little more seriously. Derek's kind of on the same page with me. It's only because it got distracting. There's a few points where I noticed it. If a movie flows right for me, I don't even notice it. I'm just along for the ride, and I laugh and stuff. If I think, hey man, they're letting this guy get a little nuts with the movie. Like if I stop and think that, for me that's too far. How did you feel about the movie? I know it's you and Cameron are on opposite sides today, so I'm ready. We're ready for you. I'm braced myself. I'm ready. Kids at home,
All right.
cover your ears.
Yeah. No. So Thor is my favorite hero. He's always been my favorite hero. He's been my favorite Marvel Comics hero. And even in the MCU, when some of his movies were not that great, he's still been my favorite. He's honestly been better in the team-up movies than he has been in his standalone movies. I'm kind of ready for that. Ragnarok upped the game a little bit. It was probably my favorite Thor movie. And so I was excited. Like, I was so excited for this film. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of Ragnarok. I love everything else what Taika Waititi's done. But I saw an article like, when are we going to get tired of Taika Waititi? And it's like, here it is. Like, when does the well run dry with Taika Waititi? Well, it just did. Like, you let him go, and it ran dry real quick. Like, this movie is so fucking stupid. Like, think about the original Avengers. Okay, Iron Man got his glorious death. Cap got to go relive the life that he didn't have, and we've got Thor kicking around, and it's like, okay, this might be the last Thor movie. We don't know. There's contract, blah blah blah, but like, this might be the last Thor movie, and you turn him into a fucking joke. Like, you turn him into a clown. Like, it's disgusting to me. And then when you look at it, like, the source material, like, you've got these 2 or 3 great storylines that you just, from the comics, like great. Like, literally, Thor has been one of the best, like, the hallmark books from Marvel Comics since like the early 2000s. It's been one of the best books since then. And like, with Jason Aaron, Kieran Gillen, Matt Fraction, like, all these guys working on this book and just doing a bang up job. And you take all these storylines and you cram them into this one movie and make it shit. Like, Christian Bale did a great job for the 20 minutes that he was in the film. Like, were you even, you talking about the Dark World? Were you even scared of him like you were of Malekith? Like, whenever he was on screen, he was creepy. But damn better job than Malekith in the Dark World. But like, was he even any more than that? And the themes and the tones from Gore the God Butcher, like, Gore the God Butcher butchered gods. He would have them hanging on meat hooks and stuff and killed gods. How many gods did you see him kill in this movie? One. The very first one. They talked about some other ones. And whenever Thor in the comics went to Omnipotent City, he didn't go to talk to Zeus. He went to look up how many gods the Gore the God Butcher had killed. And it was just volumes and volumes and stacks of like these gods that he had killed. And in this one, he goes and talks to Zeus. So fucking Gladiator can dance around in a little skirt for like, this was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, it's like you said, it's a parody of a Marvel movie. It's not even a Marvel movie. This is like saying, hey, Chris Hemsworth, you've done a great job for like 15 years, and we're going to fuck you up the ass with this movie. It was insulting to any Thor fan. Like, it was just like, you know what? Like, you don't get an honorable death. You don't get Cap's, you get this fucking joke. Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
Man, how do you really feel, Curtis?
Well, something you just said did just make me realize that I am really sad. I didn't see the God Butcher butcher any gods.
Butcher any fucking gods.
Yeah.
You were right.
Okay, I'm gonna have to reevaluate everything now.
I also I also didn't like that something that bothered me was Natalie Portman when she was in Thor mode. They kind of turned her a little bit into a dude bro, like just a dumb meathead. And I don't know if that's she was told to do that, but she's a genius. You know what I mean? It's like and like maybe it's for comedic value, but Derek, what were you gonna say?
I interpreted that as a nerd trying to be a dude bro.
Yeah,
that was my interpretation. Like Jane Foster in character was just trying to be like,
'Cause she's
yeah, look, I'm the new Thor. Wish I like it was like a cute thing that a nerd was trying to do. That's how I interpreted it. But it was, it did also feel forced.
It was weird, but it was also fun. Like I was having a conversation via comments on Facebook today with someone where they were like, "Hey, was it good?" Because I'd posted that I'd seen it, and I go, "It was good. It was a good comedy." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was good. Like I enjoyed it. I had fun. I laughed every other line the entire movie. Was it good for my Thor movie? I don't know. Like I think they took it too far. Like again, I had a great time. Go see the movie. You're gonna have fun. If you want to have fun, you're gonna have fun.
Go see Elvis. Don't go see this fucking movie. Go see Elvis. You want to watch a good movie? Go see fucking Elvis.
You're gonna have fun if you like funny things and having a good time. You're gonna enjoy it. If you are, but I'll tell you. Let me put it this way. There's talk of a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie. I don't want Taika Waititi anywhere near my Star Wars after this. I don't want that. I've already seen Spaceballs. I don't need Spaceballs again. Like, I've already had that. So if you're like, how do you feel about the Thor movie? I had a great time, but I don't want Taika Waititi in Star Wars. I don't want that. Like, if somebody seriously wrangles him back, like seriously, like, and I think he was I think he pushed the limits on Ragnarok already. There's some things watching Ragnarok again today where I'm like, this is pushing the limits. That's about as far as I want him to go. And that takes it further than Star Wars already gets a little silly here and there. And they like to use the droids to do that stuff. You know what I mean? But they already, I don't want them taking it that ridiculous. Like, I think it would really screw up Star Wars.
Making a joke of what you love. Like that's he's just like, hey, you know what? A lot of people love this. Let's turn it into a fucking joke. Like it's like
in Dark World.
It's funny, but so is fucking Looney. I can just go watch Looney Tunes and laugh my ass off. Like this isn't like that's not what it is. We're talking about a god butcher here. We're talking about serious source material. Go ahead, Clint. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, I agree with you. And like, I want to go see.
Yeah. He's dying of fucking cancer.
and I think it's interesting how Taika Waititi can take things like someone dying of cancer and then pepper them with jokes, make it funny and sad at the same time. He does, he made Jojo the Rabbit, it's like a childhood of Hitler. You know what I mean? It's like it's definitely
and that worked. Like
it definitely a talented filmmaker, amazing. And if somebody was like, "Hey, dude, you want to go watch some? You want to grab an edible and go watch what they do in the shadows?" I'm like, "Dude, that sounds like a good afternoon. It sounds like so much fun." Do I want a Star Wars movie that's like what they do in the shadows? No, I want my Star Wars movie to be Star Wars. So there you go. And I kind of feel like that about Thor, although I did have fun. I wish it would have dialed back, and I'm just gonna call it. I think Thor. Ragnarok is the perfect comic book movie after watching again today. I did enjoy, we're about to go into a long thing. I did enjoy Dark World, and I think that worked, but I think peppering a little comedy on top of it is more entertaining. And I think the way the MCU is set up, there are funny moments in the Avengers and funny things in Ant-Man. So I think just a Dark World situation is too serious to have it fit with the rest of the MCU, and I think but I think this Love and Thunder is too ridiculous to have it fit in. It almost doesn't fit in with the MCU because it's a little too ridiculous. But anyway,
all right, I gotta go to work. I don't want to be the guy to bail, but yeah,
we're calling it.
All right, guys.
So last thought, and we're cut.
try to keep it brief. Totally understand where Curtis is coming from, and my thing is like,
keep talking.
my I think the trouble with being a Marvel Comics fan is because I'm not as much as you are for sure, but it does seem like the MCU doesn't live up to any of the Marvel Comics. I don't know as far as I know, which is why I don't remember where I was even going with this thought. To me, the MCU has always kind of been a little too lighthearted in times and hasn't taken itself seriously enough. So when I even like looked into the God Butcher and this storyline in Ragnarok, I never expected it to take itself seriously. So I wasn't let down in that way, but I completely understand because that's.
But why would you pick that as a villain though? Like pick somebody else. Like the villain was inconsequential to the whole fucking movie.
But even
it was a love story.
Even Hela, the goddess of death, wasn't really. I mean, they couldn't kill her, but even she didn't feel that threatening. It was just
But like pick somebody else. Like he's only 10 years old. He's only been literally in like 15 comics. And that's how much of a presence he's made. He's such a badass character. And then you just throw him in here. And that's the thing. If Christian Bale didn't pull it off, or if they didn't pull it off, it was like another Malekith or something. I'm like, all right, well, okay. But like he pulled it off, and it's like you want to see more of that. You want to see the real gore. You just don't get it. It's not here.
I completely like. I don't think you're wrong at all with your opinion at all. It didn't bother me the same way because I did not have those types of expectations because I would have been the same way as you. Like if I would have watched a Batman movie and he was a joke character, I'd be livid. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's what I kept thinking, and I was wondering the whole time, Curtis. I was like, I wonder how Curtis is feeling about this movie right now because you were in another theater miles away from us, and also watching the same thing. And I go, if this is too silly for me, then and it wasn't too silly. I still had fun, but it did take me out of the movie a little bit. I noticed it multiple times, and I was like,
that's what I mean. Were you ever in the movie?
I was,
like, because the jokes were so rampant. Like, were you ever invested in the plot that much to where it's like you really cared? Like, like I really wasn't. It was so much hit, joke. It was like, I'm not really into this plot because things are going to turn out fine and it's Marvel. So what am I doing here? I'm just fucking killing in 2 hours. Like, that's all I'm doing.
That is the alarm. That means it's time to go, guys. We have to go. We got another show coming pretty soon. We just had Cameron had to run to work. Weasel stepped in for a second. Thanks for stepping in, Weasel. And man, we really appreciate you guys checking this out. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. And yes, sir. Derek, thanks for hanging out with us. Curtis, thanks for hanging. Weasel.
Thanks, sir.
Always love seeing you, Weasel.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. Thanks again, guys, in the chat, and we will see you guys soon. So another one in the books. Another one in the books. Another episode